Hey chocolate lovers, thanks for tuning in to the Chocolate Therapist Kitchen Club, where we always do something fun, informative, entertaining, and educational with chocolate. I'm Julie, host of the show, and I also own a little chocolate shop in Littleton, Colorado called The Chocolate Therapist. And I'm the author of this book, The Chocolate Therapist, A User's Guide to the Extraordinary Health Benefits of Chocolate. Today I'm doing 10 delicious ways to add cocoa nibs into your diet, which you should do because they're one of the richest, most nutrient-dense foods in the world. And I don't know if you know this, but they are made from the ground seeds of this fruit tree, the Theobroma cacao. And what happens, I have a whole nother video on this, on how this happens. But basically the seeds get roasted and they break down into these little pieces called cocoa nibs. Now they're bitter, 54% cocoa butter, 46% cocoa solids. So adding them to your diet can be a little bit of a challenge unless you know how to do it because they need a little bit of help. Some people like them plain, but I'm going to give you 10 different ideas on ways that you can incorporate them into your everyday diet. They're highly rich in antioxidants, vitamin, minerals, fiber, protein, healthy fats. They're considered a complete food. Why not include them in your diet? So here we go. Number one is a smoothie. Now I have a blender here. I have some organic berries. I like to use oat milk with mine. I think it's a good, rich flavor. All of these brands, by the way, I'm not paid by these companies. I'm not endorsing these products. I just like a really clean ingredient profile when I'm making anything. So I'll just put all of that in here, no matter how you make your smoothies, doesn't really matter. And then just add 1 tablespoon of cocoa nibs to your smoothie. Now I'm not going to go through the whole process because I figure you know how to do that. I'm just going to give you some different ideas on ways you can enjoy cocoa nibs. So adding them to smoothies is probably the thing that I hear the most popular way that people use them. Number 2, putting them in yogurt. I like to use a plain yogurt that doesn't have any sugar in it, very little sugar, and then add maybe some nuts, some cherries, whatever you like to add to your yogurt. I put coconut in mine, and then again, sprinkling some cocoa nibs on top. Again, that just kind of helps sweeten them up a little bit with all the other things you have in here that has a little bit of sweetness, gives it some crunch. Sometimes I call them grape nuts gone bad, but really, they're actually pretty tasty once you get used to them. Next up is cookies. Now, I don't happen to have any cookies here, but you can do one of 2 things. Either add 1 or 2 tablespoons to your cookie dough while you're making cookies. Just stir everything in together and bake them. They'll be a little less crunchy like that because some of the butters in the cookies will absorb into the cocoa nibs. Or you can just sprinkle them on top if you want to taste them more and you want them to be crunchier. Next thing up is to make them into a mole, which is a sauce, chicken mole. It's got spices, cinnamon, vanilla, all kinds of good things that you would add and pour it over your chicken. Now, I'm not going to go into a full chicken mole recipe, but if you want to start with cocoa nibs, you do have to grind them down into thick paste. And since they're 54% cocoa butter and 46% solids, once you put them in the mortar and pestle and you grind them up, they'll turn into something that you can add to that mole recipe so you can have the pure, rich flavor of cocoa nibs included in your mole. Next up is to put them in hot chocolate. Now, I didn't happen to have any of our hot chocolate here. We have a whole line of it on the website, thechocolatetherapist.com. So I just made my own with the products that I had here. And I actually have a whole video on how to make your own hot chocolate, so you can go check that out. But what I did today was I just took oat milk, cocoa powder, and pure chocolate and stirred it all together. This is so much better than Swiss Miss. Sorry, Swiss Miss. I mean to trash on other brands, but if you want something clean and all natural that tastes delicious, this is how you do it. We also sell this organic cocoa powder on our website from Cacozy. Very easy. I just made it into some hot chocolate, put it in a cup, and then just sprinkle some cocoa nibs in here. Now those are not going to melt like Ovaltine. They won't go in there and melt into your hot chocolate. They're going to kind of end up as a mass on the bottom of your cup, but they actually taste good. So you can eat them when you're done drinking that. And it gives it a little bit more chocolate edge as well. Next up is to just sprinkle actual cocoa nibs onto melted chocolate. So what I did was I took some of our curvatures, 72% dark curvatures, melted them down in this bowl, And I'm gonna be putting them on this plate that has parchment paper on it, right? A piece of parchment paper so that it doesn't stick to the plate. Parchment paper, buy it at the store. All you do is you just take your chocolate, pour it straight on to the parchment paper. You can spread it around a little bit, so almost like you're creating some kind of a bark. And then you just sprinkle the cocoa nibs straight on to the chocolate and put this in the refrigerator. Now, if you want it to come out perfectly without putting it in the refrigerator, you do have to temper the chocolate. And we have a video on how to do that too. I'm not really gonna go into it, but you wanna end with the chocolate at 91 degrees, because if you're doing the dark chocolate that I'm doing here, that is the tempering temperature. So you can see I've taken melted chocolate and just sprinkled a few cocoa nibs onto it. Now, if you want to just cut to the chase and not worry about this whole process, you can order this bar, Extreme Therapy 72% dark chocolate with cocoa nibs on it from our website. Next up, chocolate mousse. You make chocolate mousse. I did, again, a 2-minute chocolate mousse video. This is such good chocolate mousse. Organic. Put a little whipped cream on and sprinkle some cocoa nibs on the top. Now, I'm not saying chocolate mousse for the health benefits of chocolate, but if you want to get a little added benefit, sprinkle some cocoa nibs on there. Plus, it makes it crunchier. It's a little bit tastier. Number 8 is trail mix. Now, cocoa nibs make a great trail mix because they have theobromine in them, which is a stimulant, so it gives you a little bit of a lift. So you're out down the trail, you're feeling kind of tired. I like to add walnuts, cherries, and chocolate to mine with a little bit of cocoa nibs. They're light, they're easy to carry, they're delicious. Give it a try, but put in whatever you like. You don't have to do it the way I do it. Maybe you like almonds, maybe you like something different, blueberries, whatever you want. Create a trail mix with cocoa nibs for a little added energy on the trail. Next, try adding it to a savory dish. Now, chicken mole, of course, is a savory dish, but I have a friend who will grill steak with butter and garlic and everything that he does with it. And then he likes to sprinkle a few little cocoa nibs on top. So just try adding it to your favorite meat dish or your potatoes, however you see fit in your world. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but cocoa and savory, remember there is no sugar in these cocoa nibs, so it's not going to sweeten anything that you add it to. Just adds a little crunchiness and this essence of cocoa. Now, the last thing you can do is eat them plain. I saved this one for last because probably the hardest way to eat them, considering how bitter they are. Remember, they're just cocoa butter and solids. But I know a lot of people that like them like this, and we sell them in these little bags, which I call kind of like a sampler size, right? You don't have to be super invested in them to figure out whether or not you like them. So there are 10 amazing ways, delicious, to add cocoa nibs into your everyday diet. So thanks for watching today. And remember, we always do something fun, educational, entertaining, news you can use all about chocolate all the time. So if you like this show, please subscribe to our channel and I will catch you on the next episode.